Well, good morning to me. It's always a good day when I get to ride such a beautiful motorcycle. And luckily, we have beautiful motorcycles just like this always around us here at Motomillion. And finally, the rain stopped here in Miami. We've been having a lot of storms lately. And let me quickly introduce the bike that I'm going to ride today, because if you guys watched our K67 Revisited video, we talked about how relevant the K67 BMW S1000RR is in today's superbike world. And when I say today, we're filming this in September of 2024. It's hard to believe this bike was released in around May of 2019, so this bike is well over 5 years old. This example here belongs to my good buddy Michael Knight, and I think it's very tastefully done. What does it have? It has the underslung Brembo caliper setup. It has the TWM rear chain adjusters, the default exhaust that everyone loves, the titanium GP Shorty exhaust by Krapovich. It has the Litec rear sets, some custom mods here, bunch of prototype bolts, a lot of carbon fiber, and also a much needed belly pan that these bikes never came with. The full 6 carbon fiber belly pan, the street version on this bike. The front brakes, the Brembo GP4RX brakes in the front with the T-drive rotors. The bike comes with, if you option it, with the carbon fiber brakes. It has the added M1000RR front carbon fiber winglets, the carbon fiber air intake, and loads more. So we have a proper walk around video of this motorcycle if you want to go check it out. And these beautiful Rizoma mirrors that I'll pull up. Let me put my gloves on and let's go for a ride. And let's see how relevant this bike is even after 5 years, because 5 years is a long time. And as you know, there's a new 2025 Panigale V4 that just got released. We said it, is this thing still the king of the road? I kind of think it is, but let's go for a ride and let's see how it behaves on the road as a road bike. Don't expect anything crazy from me. I never do that kind of stuff, but let me get these Dainese gloves on. They're very fitted. And then we'll continue on the road. Well, right off the bat, this thing sounds so good. And we have no fuel, so we gotta go to the gas station. Michael is a little shorter than I am, so the foot pegs are pretty aggressively high, but I mean, it's not a bad thing because it's not uncomfortable. But that's adjustable as well, so we're not going to say the bike is uncomfortable, but just look at this beautiful handlebar setup. It's got the TWM upper triple and the Gillies tooling bars, and it has all the stock buttons, but all these prototype bolts and even this remote adjuster looks pretty fancy. The quick shifter is the Alpha Racing quick shifter, and as of this video, that quick shifter is discontinued, but just got an email from Alpha Racing today that within a couple weeks time that's going to be back, because it's one of the favorite mods that people put on the S1000RRs. So it's got this beautiful carbon fiber fuel cap by TWM, and I want to point something out, guys. There is a lot of fake ones of these out now, and the new ones, the TWM, the real stuff, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these little things that stick out. The fake ones have 5, just so that you're aware. And we love these fuel caps. Look, no messing with the key. There we go. GP shift. Remind myself that this thing is GP shift. Let's see where the road takes us, guys. I don't have a destination per se. I just want to ride this bike. Just love all the carbon that I see and this beautiful color scheme. I don't know how it's sounding through the camera, but it sounds amazing. So his bike has 4,260 miles now. That's pretty low miles, especially given that it's 5 years old, but obviously Michael Knight takes amazing care of this motorcycle, so it's just like new, even better than new, because it's so clean. It's so clean. I mean, as far as a superbike goes, the ergonomics for my size, I'm about 5'11", 6 foot, and it is very comfortable. It has the aftermarket clip-ons, so the angles might be a little changed from stock, but compared to the Ducatis that I've ridden in terms of superbikes and the Aprilia RSV4, this is very comfortable. And it's got the tank is pretty wide, and I kind of like that. Obviously the quick shifter is the Alpha Racing one that I mentioned, but in terms of stock quick shifters, the BMW has the best quick shifter of all, stock for stock, let alone being an aftermarket one. And for all you guys who do not like these mirrors, the mirrors actually work really well. The brakes are, I'm loving it. These GP4RX calipers are by far much better than the stock setup that this bike comes with. He's got the 19 RCS Corsa Corta master cylinder. It's bled properly well as well, and pretty much I think the ultimate brake setup is running a good set of Brembo calipers on this bike and a really nice master cylinder such as this. This is such a friendly bike, and they've always been. That's what BMWs are known for. Such an easy bike to ride, has cruise control, has quick shifter. In terms of an everyday superbike, this is very, very hard to beat. One thing is the shake on the handlebar. This has been an issue with BMW since the K46 generation. Just because the way that the engine is, it's an inline four, there's a lot of vibrations that comes through the handlebars. So if you're going to nitpick, you could say that. And a lot of people actually mention that if you do a Google search and say handlebar vibration, this issue has been talked about and debated on the forums and on the groups for a long, long time. But if you want to call it a fault, other than that, it's almost faultless. Let's do a little sound check here. I mean, it doesn't sound like an Aprilia or a Ducati's V4 engines, but it sounds really good. Should we get another BMW? Because I'm having a lot of fun on this already, and I usually call the BMW sterile and kind of bland. It's not a vibration that's caused by the vibration that it has. I don't feel it on my feet. I just feel it in the handlebars. That is the only downside, I guess. But hey, if you're going a long distance, it has cruise control. If you feel like it, you can take your hands off the handlebar. Not that I'm saying you should. It's probably not too safe. It's that quick shifter though. It's so good. Every time you shift, it's so satisfying. One finger braking, it's amazing. So the tire pressure sensor is going off. I hope you don't have a nail on the tire. I'm going to stop and check. That's another thing with these bikes are that they have TPMS sensors. Well, I hope we don't have a flat. We'll go take a look. Somewhere safe. If you could stop and take a look at our tire. Right up here should be fine. It doesn't feel like it, but let's stop and take a look at it. So one thing about BMWs are finding neutral. This is a game. Look at this. There we go. Okay, I think we're good. No nail, just a little low. It's not that low, but we are going to. Probably not to be crazy. Okay, it's not that bad. It's 31 psi. See, this is the beauty of the BMWs. You have the tire pressure sensors that you could see everything on the go, so it's not too worrisome. I'm going to keep that on there so that we monitor the pressure. There is no nails in the tire, just a couple psi lower than the set point. Let's continue on our ride then. That's why we monitored that. And that's another thing that I want to talk about is just the features that this bike has. This bike is 5 years old. Look at that display. That display still is one of the best displays, if not the best display in the segment. And they just did an update in 2023. They just made it a little nicer. The display is the same, but just the graphics are better resolution. I mean, if you get a S1000RR, the price point of this bike too, even new, they're nothing crazy like the Ducati's $30-something thousand. That would be an S model that's comparable to this. The 2025 V4 is going to be probably around 28 grand, and the S model is the one that you would compare directly to this beautiful machine here. That's around $8,000 more. I'm having a hard time justifying it other than the brand name. Beautiful Huracan Evo, and that was the whole purpose of this video, guys, just to say how relevant. We did a talk about it, right? How relevant these bikes today are. The aftermarket support is extraordinary for these things. You could get anything and everything, from oil pans if you want to different radiators, and if you just want to make it look good like this bike has an exhaust, flash, and filter. It does 208 on a dyno that this bike would probably do 186 on stock form. That is a whole lot of power with just using just premium fuel. No E85, no race fuel. So that's pretty impressive as well. So not only that it has everything that you'd want to have on a super bike, but it has pretty much one of the most powerful engines you could get. Probably, I would say, out of the box, the RSV4 is the power king, and then it's between this and the Panigale V4. But for the price difference, that you're paying on the Panigale V4. And don't forget, if you want to get an Acura exhaust, a full Acura exhaust, you're looking at least $5 grand without installation. And if you want the crazy Undertale one, that's $8,000. And if you guys didn't know, Motomillion started off with the BMW S1000RR platform, and we still love and enjoy this, even though we had some bad luck, let's say, with our M1000RR. Just even like the throttle application, forget about the brakes being direct, the throttle is even so nice. Look at this display. It has turn-by-turn navigation, cell phone connectivity. It's from 2019. I still got to remind myself, this bike still feels super relevant today. I know I'm ranting how good this bike is, because it is that good, guys. Yes, the sense of occasion from a Ducati is not there, but there's still a sense of occasion that you're riding something special, especially when something is this good looking as Michael has it set up. You still see a lot of carbon, CNC machine parts, your beautiful Rizoma reservoir. That exhaust to me sounds very nice as well. Again, I'm not going to say it sounds as nice as a V4 engine of an Aprilia or a Ducati, but it does actually sound pretty nice. It's not nuisance to listen to. And I was mentioning the torque that these bikes have, which is crazy with the shift cam engine that they introduced in 2019. Wow, these people. You see, this is why you got to be very careful. But as I was saying, the shift cam engine, this bike has so much torque, you do not expect it from an inline 4 engine. I believe it actually made more torque low end than our Panigale V4 SV2 that we had. And that's a big thing to say against a V4 engine and an inline 4 to have more low end torque. And what does that low end torque translate into, guys? It translates into being a rideable bike throughout town. I know some of you guys do very crazy things with these bikes, and it's your bike and your life. You can do whatever you want to do, but for just riding around town to get an enjoyment out of a super bike, that low end torque, look, we're at 4,000 RPM, 6 gears, 66 miles, instant throttle response. That deserves high praise, and it sounds so good. I feel so lucky to be able to ride these bikes back to back, because it's the best time to be able to see when your memory is fresh, just to compare apples to apples, right? Because all the super bikes that we've ridden recently are direct competition to this bike, and we haven't received the 2025 Panigale V4 yet. But I mean, if it was my own money, that's a very, very hard choice, guys. This bike is very, very hard to fault, you know, and I think if giving away some of the trouble, so there are some issues with leaking coolant on the new 2024s that I see on the forums. It's hard to say how many of the bikes are affected, but as long as the bike has warranty and they honor the warranty, and BMW keeps the current pricing that they have, I think an S1000RR with the M package, with the carbon wheels, it should be around $25,000 plus your taxes and fees. And I see some dealers have a lot of them in stock, so you could probably get a deal nowadays on one if you want to. This is probably the best super bike all round, right? You don't get as much of a sense of occasion that you would get riding a Ducati, but I mean, it is an S1000RR, it's a liter super bike, so there is obviously some sense of occasion. But other than that, cruise control, this big screen, turn-by-turn navigation, all the other electronics. Look, we had to check our tire pressure today, and that worked out pretty well, and Ducati still doesn't have it. I think maybe the new bike will have it. All those things make it really friendly to ride, and mind you, I'm fairly comfortable on this bike. I'm riding around town on a super bike, and my back's not hurting, it's not relatively hot, the seats pretty good. I mean, it has a Louis Motor seat cover on it with the gel insert, so it actually makes it a little more comfortable than stock, but that's easy to fix, and it looks wonderful. I don't know what more you would want, so I guess take that as a consumer advice, guys, that if you're in the market, given the crazy price of Ducati's new 2025 models, this thing is almost a bargain, and it's kind of crazy to say a $20-something thousand super bike is a bargain. I guess I'm going to end it there, guys. I'm going to enjoy my ride a little more, go and put more air in the rear tire, and as always, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Until next time, guys, have a good one.